The World Health Organization put out a scary warning that says Bitcoin's bull run may be set back, and they go into a few details covering why. We also have nearly 2 million UK residents own Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and witnesses will vouch for stablecoins, digital dollars, in U.S. Senate hearing today. Guys, this video is literally packed with some really good information. I would highly recommend you watch this video to the end, just so you can soak up everything that is actually going on and how this relates to cryptocurrency. A lot of this stuff might sound confusing or, like it's not a big deal. I will try my best to help explain it and tie it all in together as we go. I also have a couple other things for you. But with that said, let's get into this. If you guys could like the video, that would help me immensely. Get this out to more people. Make sure everybody sees this video. And with that said, I will get into this first article here. So the idea of a digital dollar will once again rear its head before the U.S. Congress on Tuesday. So they already proposed this idea, and guys, this article, they are just hammering it down on everything. So the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs will hold a hearing on the digitization of money and payments. While few details have been released, the witnesses, Christopher Giancarlo, Charles Cascarilla, and Nikita Coutinho, suggest the focus may center in part around central bank digital currencies and stablecoins. The hearing may tread similar ground to a recent one hosted by a subcommittee of the House Financial Services Committee, which addressed questions of financial inclusion and how best to send relief funds to U.S. residents quickly and efficiently. So guys, how to send relief to U.S. residents quickly and efficiently? Why would they even be concerned with doing that? What funds? Well, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure they are referring to the COVID-19 funds, the stimulus funds, the relief money. Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve have come out and said that they will do whatever it takes to keep the economy afloat during COVID-19. And in my head, I know it took a lot of people I know who are waiting for their stimulus money by check. I know some people who still don't even have their stimulus money, but it took so long to come in that if people actually needed that money, by the time it came in, I mean, if they really didn't have food, they would have starved to death by then, right? I know, like I said, I know people who still have not received their stimulus money. So if the economy really does get bad, people need the stimulus money, and it's not coming to them. I mean, what good is this money if it's tied up, right? So I don't think with the Federal Reserve coming out and saying that they will do whatever it takes to keep the economy afloat, they will print any amount of money. The fact that they're going to need to print so much money to get us out of this mess, I don't think they are going to stick with their old systems. I think that they realize if they're going to do this, they need to have better systems in place. So witnesses at the time called for tried and proven alternatives to building a novel tokenized system. Coutinho, in prepared opening remarks, said while some U.S. residents might turn to digital banking and payments, low-income Americans disproportionately prefer to transact with bank tellers. Digital systems come with their own drawbacks. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans don't have smartphones, limiting their access to digital banking services, while nearly 10% don't have alternative internet access in their homes. Coutinho also raised questions about the business models for CBDCs and stablecoins. He says if services are free, what alternative trade-offs are consumers making, like consumer data? Is consumer data being used to exploit behavioral weaknesses to their detriment? Additionally, are consumer conditions improved by a shift to the novel solution? Ultimately, fintech solutions should not merely move the most Americans from the fringe financial marketplace to a fringe digital economy. He also says consumers and institutions alike are held back by the inability to have timely access to their own funds because of settlement delays and bank transfers, international wires, and other activities that can take over 5 days to settle, he says. This makes it difficult to manage other payments with any kind of predictability. On an economy-wide scale, this creates a complex daisy chain of loan obligations and unnecessary intermediaries. This architecture must be updated for the 21st century. Guys, get that. They need to update their architecture for the 21st century, he says, echoing a common refrain from former CFTC chair Giancarlo, who has similarly advocated for future-proofing the dollar. Giancarlo, appearing in his capacity, will explain and advocate for a tokenized version of the greenback. The Digital Dollar Project believes the opportunity is at hand, not just to imagine such an ecosystem, but to actually build it with such services for low-income and underbanked communities as priorities from the start, he says in a prepaid testimony. Now, guys, this isn't all. I also found this while scrolling through Twitter, and from @OneCrypticPoet, he posted this. Now, this is Giancarlo, the same Giancarlo that we just read here, who said that he was advocating for a tokenized version of the greenback. So I'm going to play this video, and I'll let you guys see what he has to say.
Physical infrastructure, its bridges, tunnels, airports, and mass transit systems have been allowed to age, deteriorate, and in some cases become obsolete. Well, sadly, the same is true about much of our financial infrastructure. Systems for payment and settlement, shareholder and proxy voting, and investor access and disclosure that were global models in the 20th century are falling behind the times in the 21st. And nothing reveals the limits of our existing financial system more starkly than the federal response to COVID-19, with tens of millions of Americans having to wait a month or more to receive relief payments by paper check.
So, yeah, so tens of millions of Americans by paper check having to wait a month or more. It's not sustainable. If they're going to keep printing money and putting it into the system, they're not going to be able to wait months for checks.
My second observation is that we're entering a new era when things of value, such as contracts, stock certificates, land records, and cultural assets like art and music, will be stored, managed, and moved around instantaneously from person to person.
So guys, get that. So stocks, land, art, they're going to tokenize everything and allow them to be transferred instantaneously. We're looking at the tokenization of the economy, and it's no longer a conspiracy theory, guys. We're no longer crazy. I mean, this is coming out of Giancarlo's mouth. They are going to tokenize land, stocks, art, music, and facilitate being able to transfer those assets instantaneously. You're looking at the future. You're looking at the digital future of tokenization of assets.
They will move without central validators, but through collaborative cryptography and a decentralized network of computational algorithms. It will make sending money as easy and cost-free as sending a photograph. My third observation is that by acting now, we can harness this wave of innovation for greater financial inclusion, capital and operational efficiency, and economic growth for generations to come. The Digital Dollar Project is a not-for-profit effort to encourage public discussion on the potential advantages of a U.S. central bank digital currency, or CBDC as it is known. The project's recent white paper proposes a new additional form of money, a tokenized digital bearer instrument. It would have the same legal status as the dollars in one's purse, but on a mobile device, and would operate alongside existing forms of money distributed through the existing two-tiered banking system and potentially be recorded on distributed ledger technology. This type of CBDC would increase financial inclusion by broadening access to services through digital wallets on smartphones. It would enable the sending of COVID relief immediately to underbanked populations and expand their ability to access financial.
So he just said COVID relief, the access to COVID relief. So we know all this money printing coming in is for COVID, for the COVID relief. The people aren't getting their money fast enough, so they need to implement new systems. Notice how COVID-19 is the entire catalyst here. Without COVID-19, the government doesn't care about digital dollars. We're not getting digital dollars. Before COVID-19 happened, the government, our government, they weren't talking about digitizing the dollar. They weren't having or talking like this. But now, because they need to get funds to people instantaneously, here it is. We're looking at the digital dollar. Here it comes right down the pipeline. So just take note that COVID-19 is the major catalyst here for why this discussion is taking place.
Services. If this type of digital dollar is about more than financial inclusion, it is about basic financial architecture. Today, most of the world's tradable commodities, benchmarks, and contracts.
All right, so that's basically that, guys. So now, right, if our officials are predicting a second wave of the virus, then it makes sense that they're putting down this groundwork now. If they know a second wave of the virus is coming, there's more cases going up. I'm seeing on the news that there's resurgences now. And once this becomes mainstream, we could have another massive drop in the market. And then that could be followed by the Fed needing to print more stimulus money, more relief money. And that could be the catalyst for like, hey, we need the digital dollar now. The banks literally might have a liquidity crisis. It really might happen. So with that said, you guys, like the video, make sure this gets out, make sure people see this, because the more people that see this, the more wealth that me and you and average people can build, the better. We need to secure our financial futures. I also want to show you guys this from the liquidity index bot. So as you guys know, Ripple came out and said that they're no longer going to be really working in some certain corridors, or their volume's going to be way low. And after they came out and said that, we saw a major decrease, but today we actually have a spike up out of nowhere. So just wanted to bring that to you guys. Nothing more, nothing less, but we are getting a little bit of volume. I guess we'll see what it turns into. I don't think it's going to turn into a positive price action, because it didn't prior, right? All this volume here didn't turn into positive price action, but I think it's a good thing to just be aware of, is some volume coming in. We also have a Bitcoin whale alert. So 1,200 Bitcoin valued at over 10 million moved from unknown wallet to Bitstamp. So more Bitcoin hitting exchanges. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, make sure you subscribe to the digital investor community. I make a video like this daily covering the news. I cover Bitcoin, altcoins, everything going on in the crypto space to keep you guys as up to date as possible, to make sure that you don't wake up in a world you don't recognize one day, because that's where crypto is going. That is where this digital world is going. And you do not want to be the person that wakes up one day and you're like, what the heck just happened? What is this digital dollar? It's going to be much easier to navigate this new landscape that is coming if we were riding the train the entire time. Now, before we go into whose scary warning, let's just go over the prices in our fear and greed index. So Bitcoin is at 9,100, Ethereum's at 225, XRP is at 17 cents. We have an 8-cent Cardano, 459 Chainlink, Stellar's at 6 cents, and VeChain's at 8.7. Our fear and greed index is at 44, so we're still trading in our range. So our fear index really isn't going to move. And guys, basically, with the whole market's correlated to Bitcoin at this point, and we're waiting for Bitcoin to tell us what it's going to do. And we're going to keep having neutral / light fear until we get some clear indicators from Bitcoin as to what's going to happen, whether we break up or break down. So now let's jump in. The WHO issued a warning that the worst of the pandemic has yet to come. The first wave brought record devastation to Bitcoin and the stock market, and investors now fear another crash. If the worst is yet to come for the outbreak itself, could the market experience a steeper sell-off alongside the resurgence of cases globally? 6 months have passed since the pandemic first emerged, and life is not back to normal, nor have markets fully recovered from the sell-off called Black Thursday. The stock market went from setting an all-time high the month prior to the worst quarterly close on record. Bitcoin and other cryptos fell by 50% or more in 48 hours. Stimulus money offered by the Fed and other global governments helped save economies from disaster. However, the efforts may not be enough to combat another wave of the virus. And guys, if the next wave of the virus comes before the stock market can make a new higher high and get above its previous all-time high, then it's going to look like a textbook dead cat bounce. Everybody who's been saying that it's a dead cat bounce is going to, really look correct. And I think that would be just more investors would start panicking in the market. 100%. I think it would look textbook bearish. It would look like a blow off top. The pandemic isn't going away, and 6 months in, the WHO chief isn't optimistic things will improve before they worsen. Although many countries have made some progress globally, the pandemic is speeding up, says the head of WHO. The worst is yet to come. I'm sorry to say that, Tedros added. And he said this at a briefing in Geneva, Switzerland. His comments come as the pandemic reaches over 10 million confirmed infections and over 500,000 deaths. Guys, actually, I kind of stopped tracking the COVID-19 numbers, and I really did not know it was this high. So I almost want to start looking at these numbers again. 10 million confirmed and 500,000 deaths. That is insane. It's amazing how many cases have appeared since I've kind of stopped following the entire thing. Cases spiraling out of control again in some parts of the U.S. during the initial stages of reopening isn't promising. Return to even stricter lockdown conditions could be demoralizing for the public that has already gone through so much. Another wave of the panic could be devastating for markets as well. The stock's V-shaped recovery could be in jeopardy, could be a W shape rather than a V shape. And guys, with everything going on right now, if you look, we have COVID-19, we have riots, we have a defunding of police brutality. We have so many different things that are happening right now. If you looked, a couple months before 2020, right, while 2019 was ending, I mean, could anybody have guessed that we would be in the spot that we are in now? It is absolutely insane. And now we're seeing, coronavirus being a catalyst to usher in a digital dollar. There are so many things happening right now, things that were being planned behind the scenes that are now on the front lines, that are now being talked about, agendas trying to be pushed. You have to keep your eyes very open with everything that's going on. Now, we covered a bit of this yesterday. So this is Willy Woo, and basically he said that Bitcoin was set for a bullish run until COVID killed the party, and he says that his model that he's making suggests that another bull run is coming, but it might be a month to go. Now, the problem is that if another second wave comes before Bitcoin sets up for that second bull run, then we might just tank down. Also, even if Bitcoin did set up and we start making price action up, but a big second wave comes and stock market crashes, well, until this point, Bitcoin's correlated to the stock market. Now, I love to believe that Bitcoin isn't. I hate the fact that Bitcoin is. It's hard to admit sometimes, but from what I've seen, Bitcoin is definitely very correlated with the stock market. When the stock market's going up, Bitcoin's going up, and when it's crashing down, Bitcoin's also usually crashing down. So until Bitcoin proves me otherwise that it's no longer correlated, which I think at some point Bitcoin will uncorrelate, but as of right now, it's correlated. So until Bitcoin proves me wrong, then I have to think that if the stock market is to tank on news of a second wave coming, Bitcoin should probably follow it. That doesn't necessarily scare me. I'm ready to buy in. But it would make sense if a second wave is coming. We're trading right under historical resistance. Every time we've hit this resistance, we've fallen. We've fallen and we've retraced. So it really, it's not too hard to believe that we might pull back from here. So if stocks fall due to another wave of pandemic panic, Bitcoin's bull run will have to wait a while longer as well. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that we could have a large drop off. And then followed by that, we could have a quick pullback up, and have some basically go sideways for a while. I think that's what we have coming around. I think we're gonna lose some volatility in the market a little bit. I think we're gonna have some volatility if a second wave comes. Volatility to the downside, obviously, but then I think we're probably just gonna be trading sideways for quite a while. I think we're gonna have a longer term accumulation happening. With that said, let's move on. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you like it. And let's see. So nearly 2 million UK residents own Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Also, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you guys think there's going to be a second wave of the pandemic? And if you do think there's going to be a second wave of the pandemic, do you think the price of Bitcoin will go down? Just let me know your thoughts. We could check the comments after this video and see what everybody thinks, because that's one good way to learn, right? Everybody post their comments down below. Post what you think. We can all read what everybody thinks and then make our own opinions, make our own guesses based off of that. So in the UK, 1.9 million people, which is 3.86% of its population, currently hold Bitcoin and other cryptos. The FCA report published Tuesday highlighted a significant 2.35% increase in the number of people who have bought cryptos compared to the previous year, up from 1.5 million people to 2.6 million in 2020. That is quite the jump, guys. People in the UK are hearing more about cryptos too. Per the survey, the amount of UK citizens conscious of cryptos has climbed from 42% in 2019 to 73% in 2020. So in 1 year, guys, a 30% uptick. Out of the 5 major cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin came out on top with 78% of respondents recognizing it. 41% expecting to be invested for longer than 3 years. That's surprising to me, guys, that more people aren't invested for longer than that. I have bags that I'm looking to sell in this bull run, but I also have bags that I'm looking to hold for like 10 to 15 years. Just long term, I might possibly never sell them. I think we'll get to a point, and like we're seeing with the digital dollar, like Giancarlo said, they're going to be tokenizing assets. I think we'll get to the point where we don't need to necessarily sell. You could just hold, and you could instantly transfer in and out of any type of tokenized asset. So yeah, I have some set aside for that scenario just in case. Researchers pointed to a growing media spotlight on the sector, along with a spike in crypto advertisements for the increased awareness. 63% of the UK investors are buying their crypto on Coinbase, while 15% are using Binance. 46% store crypto on the exchange they bought them on. 34% moved their funds to another wallet, and 24% said they keep it offline, more secure in a hardware wallet. While the UK is hearing about Bitcoin, clearly not your keys, not your Bitcoin is falling on deaf ears. And I agree, guys. I agree with holding your Bitcoin, but at the same time, at least we're getting people into the market, and they'll probably smarten up. They will probably smarten up as they just simply learn more and see more content, see videos like this, see more articles. They will learn to eventually get them off exchanges. Hopefully, they do it before another exchange gets hacked and people lose crypto, and then they learn. Hopefully, people don't learn the hard way. Exchanges have been hacked before, and I'm sure they'll be hacked in the future, right? I don't think that we're never going to experience an exchange hack again. I'm sure another one will come, and I just hope that the amount of people that are affected by that is very slim. I hope many of them get their crypto off exchanges so they actually own it. To me, getting your crypto off an exchange is like holding a piece of silver, right? If you're going to buy silver, you want to actually hold it. You want to have it in your hand so you actually own it. And to me, that's the same thing with Bitcoin. I want to have it on my own hardware wallet so that I own the Bitcoin. With that said, I have one last thing for you guys. So this is a quote from The Big Short. While the whole world was having a big old party, few outsiders and weirdos saw what no one else could. And guys, I think that we here are those outsiders and weirdos, especially if you're buying cryptocurrencies, if you're living without your means, you're not spending more than what you make, you carry little to no debt, you're living a sustainable life, you're not overspending, and you're investing into cryptos and you're investing into the future, into blockchain. I think we're the outsiders that are seeing what nobody else can. I try to wake people up to this. I try to tell them, where we're moving to. I try to show them actual things, like the same things I present you guys, right? I'll show people, for example, show them this. We'll show them, hey, look, the U.S. is actually looking to go digital with the dollar, and it's just shrugged off, So unfortunately, many people don't see it, but we do, so we can take advantage of that, and we can buy in because we know where things are going, just like some people did in The Big Short. So with that said, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe. I produce a video like this daily to keep you guys in the loop of everything going on with Bitcoin, altcoins, and in the blockchain and crypto space. If you could like the video so this gets out to more people need to see this type of content. They need to see these videos because they need to secure their financial futures. I think we all need to own crypto. It is a hedge that I think you need. I don't think anybody should be, think of crypto as an option. Honestly, if I didn't hold crypto, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night. Just because of how uncertain everything looks. With that said, guys, this is not financial advice. Don't buy or do anything because of this video or what I do or say, but I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you all on the next video.